Hi friends, it's Belinda here from BMakingJoy. Welcome to episode 46 of What Brings Me Joy, a mostly knitting podcast from my home here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I share with you what I've been working on with my knitting or any other crafts. And sometimes you get a sneak peek at some of the designs I'm working. And we keep track of how many works in progress I have on the needles to try and keep me under control. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, I'm so glad to have you back. I'm recording this on Friday, January the 10th, 2025. And in this episode, I have 2 finished objects. And I have 2 of what we call a hoe, an H-O, which is a half object. So you'll see more what that means in a bit. And I'm going to take you on a tour of my yarn stash. But first, a little bit of a life update. Since the last episode, we've had a nice long visit from our children, our 2 oldest that live away. We cooked a large turkey and several side dishes, and we spent days eating leftovers and playing games and watching TV, and it was a lot of fun. One of the girls introduced us to a show called Taskmaster. It's a show from the UK, but we found it on YouTube to watch. And the premise is there are 5 contestants who are giving a series of silly assignments, tasks to complete, and they have to improvise to find ways to get it done. And points are awarded out kind of randomly, kind of not. But it was a lot of fun to watch. And we really enjoyed our visit with our daughters. Dan and I have also been watching The Stranger, Bad Sisters, Picard. I think that's about it recently. And we've also been to 2 more Flames games since I spoke to you last. And I spent some time organizing my yarn. And I inputted everything into a spreadsheet. So I'm going to give you a close-up look at all the yarns, and I'll tell you my totals for full accountability. I'll tell you how many skeins I actually have. So let's take a tour. Welcome to a tour of my studio/yarn stash. Over here in this corner, we have my protein-based yarns. The top shelf is probably all going to become socks someday. This middle area I have really no specific plans for, but it's beautiful stuff. This area is my subscription color of the month subscription from Ancient Arts. And then from there downward are designated for specific projects. And the things in the boxes too are designated for specific projects. And this is my old pattern collection. I no longer do paper copies, but these are from like 1990s, 2000s. And then over here we have my plant-based fibers. Cotton, bamboos, some hemps. They don't have specific destinations for what I'm going to do with them, but a few ideas. And a box of cotton scraps for dishcloths. I think I forgot to point out over there a box of scraps for socks. And then over here, some of the synthetic fibers, the ones that I've allowed to stay upstairs. There is more downstairs. So let's go downstairs and see the rest. This is our basement storage room, aka fitness room. And here are all my bulky weight and chunky weight and super bulky yarns. Some of them boxed up and labeled. I have so much because when I originally set up BMakingJoy, I was selling physical products. So I bought a ton of this yarn, especially the blanket yarn, on sale. And over here, where the cat's meowing because he wants in that door, this box is, the top 3 shelves are DKs and worsted weights, more acrylics. And in this cupboard, which Nikki likes to explore. Are you going in? In this trunk, I have all kinds of unknown fibers. A lot of this stuff actually came with me from Nova Scotia, and then I've added other things that I couldn't identify. And on this shelf are kits. When I was in the Kit of the Month Club from Annie's for a while, and then from Mary Maxime for a while. And then when I started designing, I didn't keep up with the kits, so after about a year of letting them pile up, I canceled the subscription. So that's my collection. I also didn't mention that there is a box of Bernat Handicrafter cotton under the bed. That'll get used for dishcloths. So my totals are, I did a spreadsheet. I haven't inputted them into Ravelry. I haven't gotten into that yet, but I did a spreadsheet on my iPad, and I have, for protein fibers, I have 190 full skeins and 20 partial skeins. For plant-based fibers, I have 139 full skeins and 5 partial skeins, plus the box of scraps and a box of stock scraps for the protein fibers that I didn't input. For synthetic fibers, well, okay, for the chunky and bulky, I have 236 skeins, full skeins, plus 28 partial skeins. And then for all the other synthetic fibers, I have 124 full skeins plus 21 partial skeins, and I did not input what's in the trunk. So my total is 689 full skeins and 74 partial skeins. So let's see if we can plug away at that this year. And if I can restrain from buying any more. Yeah, I'm not going to make that promise, but I will try and work away at this inventory. Okay, let's move on to my finished objects. So I have my Sophie Scarf, which was my purse project in the last month and a bit. And after attending 2 hockey games in this past week, I was able to finish it. So my first finished object of 2025. And I used the DMC Merino Cashmere yarn that I bought in Prague back in October. And I used the scale to figure out how much yarn I had, where my halfway point was going to be. And I have this much left over, so I measured it just slightly less than a gram off. And my finished product is 40 inches long. I haven't blocked it. I think it will grow when it's blocked, but I probably won't block it until after it's gotten sweaty or dirty. So yeah, I finished it halfway through the last hockey game. I had to spend the last period sitting on my hands. Now, I haven't got another purse project started yet. I probably could just grab the project off the treadmill when I decide to go to another hockey game or another appointment. Or I might come up with another purse project. We'll see. My second finished object is from the treadmill knitting. It's a heart-shaped dishcloth. There are several free patterns online. This one is called Practical Little Heart. The pattern is by Heidi Karameyer, and I will link it in the show notes below. I did this one in Paint Box Cotton Yarns DK. And I've never used this yarn before. It's not mercerized. I don't know how it's going to hold up to cleaning. You'll have to ask me later. And also because it's a DK instead of a worsted, it's a little floppy, a little thin, but it'll hold up for a while, I'm sure. I did buy a Bernat Handicrafter cotton in a white and red combination. I'm making more. I've already got another one started on the treadmill downstairs. So that's finished object number 2 of the year. And then my half objects are blanket mittens. This is my pattern that I published in November of 2022. I came up with it while I was visiting family in Nova Scotia, and I left my samples there for them, except for one pair that I brought home and I put in our box in the hallway for the families. We have a box of mittens, a box of scarves, a box of hats, etc. And then when my middle daughter came home to gather up some things for the winter, she took them. So I didn't have any of my own. So when I was cleaning out the yarns, I decided I was going to make one of my own. I was going to find the blanket yarn and bring it upstairs to make one. And then I also found, while I was organizing, some hometown yarn, Lion Brand Hometown, the same weight category. And I decided I wanted to make a pair of mittens in this. I have a pullover, a hoodie done in this. So first I made that mitten, and I knew it was going to come up a little bit smaller because the yarn is a little bit thinner than blanket yarn. Bernat blanket yarn is what I wrote the pattern for. But I was surprised at how much smaller. So then I grabbed the blanket yarn and made this one. And so you can see the comparison. So let that be a lesson that weight category alone is not good for substituting. You need to do a gauge swatch and see what fabric you're going to get. Nonetheless, it still fits. It's still a mitten. I'm satisfied with it. I will make a match to this one. I will make a match to this one. Probably both sometime in the next week, because we are off to Fernie next week, where I hope to be spending some time outside. I don't ski, but I might go snowshoeing. And we do walk down the hill to the restaurant. So I'm going to cast on another one of this right away. All right, my works in progress. My trainer cloak, I've been making a point of doing 4 rows a day. And it's coming along slowly. Oops, where's the other hole? There it is. Last episode, I was in the middle of splitting for the armholes. So now I've gotten 4 inches past the armhole. I don't remember right now how long it's actually going to get. This cloak is then going to have a hem and a button band and a hood in a different colorway. This one is Kismet. It's Lasco's Fine by Ancient Arts Yarns. And the other color I have is Baby Aubergine, which I really should have brought with me here to show you. Okay, so this is Kismet, Lasco Fine, Ancient Arts Yarns. And this is the Baby Aubergine that the button band and the hood is going to be done in. Now, if you've seen previous episodes, you've seen my original sample for this pattern was done for my daughter in a Pokemon theme set of minis and has a trainer ball pattern on the hood. My hood, of course, is going to be plain. It's coming along slower than I expected, and I don't think my test knitter is coming along very fast either. So I expect there might be a delay in publishing this pattern, but that's okay. I don't have a deadline. My snow Fun in the Snow circular throw test knit is coming along, and one final run to the tech editor, and we should be good to publish that one beginning of February. Okay, let me take this off, get the next work in progress, because I simply cannot just keep knitting only on one project. I've also been going back and forth between that and my Milton cardigan. The Milton cardigan pattern is by Joji Locatelli, and I really want to get this done by early February to wear on our business trip. Let's see. I started it last spring, nearly summer. And last episode, I was almost finished the sleeves. So sleeves done, and I've gone back to working the body. And I'm going to put these stitches on some tubular, try it on tubing. Actually, this is pony cord tubing from Michael's, but it works just as well. So I'm going to slip it on the end of the needles and slip the stitches off so I can spread it out and put it on and give us a better view of where we're at. There we go. I'm very happy with the length of the sleeves. And if they do grow, I won't mind folding the hem up. I think it looks very nice. And coming along on the body, I'm going to get up on the footstool and show you. Oops, get over here. And I brought my yardstick because pattern instructions say we go till we're at 20.5 inches from the armhole, which is here. Whoops, that's not really showing you. 20.5 inches. Here where my finger is. I still got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 more inches to go, and then there's a short little hem, about a 1/2 inch hem. So yeah, I'm going to love it. I really want to get it finished before the first weekend of February. Well, we'll see now, but we are booked to go to Santa Monica for conventions, and it was at Santa Monica last year that I bought this yarn and decided to make this sweater. Unfortunately, LA is on fire right now, so we'll have to wait and see what's happening with that trip. But nonetheless, those types of meetings, it's an investment seminar type meeting, are what I thought would be perfect for wearing this sweater over a summer dress. So I really want to get this finished so I can start wearing it. Like I said, the pattern's by Joji Locatelli. It's done in a sport weight and a lace weight striped. So the gray is the sport weight. It's Fiber Natura, Kingston Tweed in the color Marble. And the blue is Manos de Uruguay Marina in the color Atlantis. So it's really nice texture. Looking forward to getting it done. So I've been alternating most of my work between this and the cloak, except I spent a day or two doing the mittens, and I've spent another day or two doing the other half of the mittens. And since it's past the end of the year, I should update you on my 2024 temperature scarf. So let me get this sweater off and go fetch that. This box has been living in my TV room, and those are yarns that came out of that trunk in 2020. I did a temperature blanket in 2020, sorry, another one in 2021, and then I switched to scarves for 2022 and 2023. And here's the 2024 scarf, caught up to the middle of November. So it starts January 1st. Middle of November. I've got about 1.5 months of catching up to do, and I've got all my temperatures noted, recorded, and I can just go through and check them off as I do each row. And the way I've been doing it is just simply joining in yarn, knitting across, cutting the yarn, and then tying the previous row to the one before it. So I've got this fringe all the way down, which as a scarf, it rolls inside. Nicely to be worn. I did wear last year's once or twice. And then I will tie 2022 and 2023 together, where this one maybe once or twice, and then tie it to the next one so that I can see a progression year to year of what the temperatures in Calgary were like from year to year. This year has been particularly warm. Like here's the middle of November, and the yellow represents temperatures between 0 and 5. So it was the middle of November before we got down below 5 degrees. Interesting. I think it's interesting to see a comparison year to year of how our temperatures vary so much. Calgary temperatures vary tremendously from day to day, from year to year. But recently they've been getting warmer. And these fuzzy pinks represent the days where it was above plus 30. And I have a fuzzy blue for days when it was below. And we have one below minus 30 day in January. Now, I used the high of the day rather than the low of the day. So it probably went below minus 30 a couple of other times. But I didn't put it into the blanket unless it was the high of the day. Okay. I think that's all I'm going to show you this episode. That's really all I've been working on. And let's do our WIP count update. The last episode I had 10 unfinished projects. I finished the Sophie Scarf. I have not replaced the purse project yet. But I finished the dishcloth, immediately started a new dishcloth. And these 2 mittens actually count as 2 more new projects. So my WIP count is currently at 11. Yeah. I am continuing with my subscription to the Color of the Month with Ancient Arts Yarns. So I will go fetch that. It's just ready now. And I'll share that with you. So the January Color of the Month from Ancient Arts Yarns here in Calgary. And it's a new year, a new theme. I'll give you a sneak peek, quick peek, and then I will read you their inspiration information, and then we will take a closer look at this. So every year we like to set a theme for the Color of the Month. And for 2025, we are excited to choose to explore a theme of creativity and what inspires us. Hand-dyed yarn at Ancient Arts has always had a story behind it, and so for us, the chance to share with you 12 stories of something that deeply inspires us is irresistible. Each month, we will feature a concept, a place, a book, a person, an event, an artist or artwork, etc., that has made a real difference to our lives, inspiring us artistically and personally. We'll tell you the story of each inspiration and how it is reflected in the yarn. And when they say we and us, they are talking about Caroline, the owner of Ancient Arts, and her team that dyes the yarn. And if you're not familiar, Ancient Arts Yarns here in Calgary is a yarn store that I like to frequent, but I have no affiliation here. But I have been purchasing this Club of the Month for 2 years now. So, our theme for January is home, and home for Ancient Arts is the city of Calgary. Home means many things to people. We all have our own concepts of what is home. It can be a place, a family, biological, or one we create with good friends, a combination of the two, and so on. Regardless of how it is defined, home is where we feel most ourselves. Home shapes us. I grew up in Calgary, and the geography has very much influenced who I am and what I like to do. Now, this is Caroline speaking. Calgary has a very large population of many cultures, and that has led to my interest in people and took me down the road of sociology. I love the mountains with their incredible beauty and amazing nature. There is nothing better than a good hike. But I also love wide open spaces like the prairies. I love to capture nature in art and find it endlessly inspiring. Calgary glows at sunset thanks to being placed between the Rocky Mountains and the prairies. A sunset over the mountains with the city skyline is beautiful and has so many colors to enjoy. And she includes a picture here, which I will pop up for you. Calgary is the largest city in the province of Alberta, Canada, and is the largest metro area within 3 prairie provinces. As of 2024, the city has a metropolitan population of 1.68 million, 1,680,000, making it the 3rd largest city and 4th largest metropolitan area in Canada. Calgary sits at the confluence of the Bow River and the Elbow River in the southwest of the province, in the transitional area between the Rocky Mountain foothills and the Canadian prairies. The city is approximately 80 kilometers, 50 miles, east of the Front Ranges of the Canadian Rockies, and approximately 240 kilometers, 150 miles, north of the Canada-United States border. The city has a very variable climate due to our Chinooks, which are warm, dry winds that blow down from the eastern side of the Rocky Mountains. Our temperatures can change dramatically. My own mother used to tell the story of how it went from -20 to +20 the day I was born, she says. Calgary's economy includes activity in many sectors: energy, financial services, film and television, transportation and logistics, technology, manufacturing, aerospace, health and wellness, retail, and tourism. The Calgary metropolitan region is home to Canada's 2nd largest number of corporate head offices among the country's 800 largest corporations. In 2022, Calgary was ranked alongside Zurich, that's Switzerland, Sweden, Zurich, as the 3rd most livable city in the world, ranking 1st in Canada and in North America. It is a great place to live as it has so much to offer. So let's look at that picture again and compare it to this yarn. I love it. Yeah, I think I have an idea for using it in an upcoming project. I have an upcoming project in mind, which I could use this or 1 or 2 of the other previous color of the months. I won't share anything more about that until I actually have it written down, though. There, that's the color of the month. Any other acquisitions? I told you I bought the Handicrafter cotton for more dishcloths. I bought a Peyton's Classic wool, which is not at my hands right now, in a natural color to use for my swatching for the Patty Lyons workbook. A podcast that I follow called the Unraveling Podcast is doing a knit along with that workbook, so I bought the yarn for that. That's all my acquisitions. That's really all I have to share. So thank you for watching. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy beading, happy embroidery, happy drawing. Whatever it is that you like to do, go find some joy.